and welcome to episode 167 of
The Eldritch Podblast.
I am Margaret.
I am Jack.
I just did the biggest exhale before doing the intro.
I know. I can see it on the waveforms.
This is a real big exhale. Hello, how are we doing? Happy Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, happy Thursday.
Come on, say it with confidence. Come on.
Happy Thursday.
Hey, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
I'll be having a nice Thursday.
I hope you have had a wonderful week.
So
Welcome
far.
back. Hello. How are you doing? What you eating? Who you doing?
Yeah.
That's
all
my
the,
3 questions.
All the regulars.
Yep. All the regs.
All the regulars.
You get, I get 3 genie wishes, and I ask those questions.
Yeah.
Who you doing? What you doing?
Yeah.
What you eating?
I just want to know what the genie's doing.
yeah, that's all. Yeah,
I want to know what the genie is eating.
The genie feels so bad for me. Gives me an extra question, and I'm like, "What's the weather like?" I hope you had a good week. Hello.
Welcome back. Welcome in, one and all.
Indeed.
New and old.
Yeah. You know what? It's cold and rainy today. Hey, I'm warm.
Yeah, you've been moving around in that, haven't you?
Yeah,
You've been
hey,
scooting.
I'm suddenly
You've
boiling.
been giving it the
Oh my god, the rootin' scootin' tootin'.
Yeah, you've been
that's
rootin' scootin'
me,
tootin'.
by the way.
Oh yeah, big time. Big
Yeah,
time.
and I'm suddenly so warm. Oh my goodness
Yeah,
gracious
you'll cool
me.
down just by sitting here.
Yeah, maybe.
No, you will.
Yeah,
You will.
maybe.
By sitting here, just not doing anything, it'll bring your body temperature down.
Yeah, indeed. I wasn't moving that much. It doesn't
You
take
were
much,
moving.
does it? It doesn't take that much.
You
to
were
be fair.
scooting.
Yeah, I was scooting.
You get yourself ready, and then you do the final checks, don't you?
Yeah.
You make sure the camera's in the angle that you like.
Yep.
And you click record and stuff like that, and
Yep.
then you're
Yep.
moving around, and then you come over.
Yep. Sure do. Give you a kick.
Yeah, you give me the
He
kick.
gets his daily kick in.
Yeah, she stands up after we do the thumbnails,
Yep.
and
Gets his daily kick.
she pretends to kick me.
Yep. All in a day's work.
It's just tradition, and now we can't not do it. You know what I
All
mean?
in a day's work.
Yeah.
Gosh, what's changed since what's
Not a huge amount.
well
We did. Go on.
it's September. We
it is
did our
September.
first September awards.
We sure did.
On Friday, and then tomorrow I'm certain there will be some more September things going on, right?
Yeah.
Is it the dance party tomorrow?
Is it Thursday today?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it the dance
It's
party?
the emo dance party tomorrow.
Yeah. And did we decide that that's definitely what it's going to be?
I think so.
When it's
well,
gonna
me and
be?
you did. We
Yeah.
haven't told stream yet.
Yeah.
Because that's tonight.
I think it's going to be emo dance party tomorrow
So
on
if you want to
stream.
come, we are taking requests.
Taking requests.
So if you want to get yourself in and request some emo bangers and just hang out and live your best emo life,
Yep.
that's what we'll be doing.
Yep.
And we'll be hanging out and stuff like that.
Yep.
May get onto some D&D stuff eventually, but
Yep.
it's mostly just hanging out
Mm-hmm.
with your friends. You
Mhm.
can have a drink if
Yep.
you want,
Oh my goodness.
as long as you do it responsibly.
Yep, we can make some mocktails.
We're going to make some mocktails.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah.
listen to some emo bangers, and we're
Yep.
going to set up a way that chat can request
Yes.
songs.
Yes, indeed. That should be happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
If not,
It is. It's happening tomorrow. So come and join us for that.
We did our first September stuff, which was we painted each other's portraits from memory.
On stream.
Which-
Well, not from memory. We will, we looked at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But painted each other's portraits, and we had dog cam.
We had dog cam.
Dog cam. Listen, the amount of times you unfortunately just saw either nothing or his butthole.
Or his swinging balls.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm really
But that's
sorry
just
about
what,
that.
yeah, we said. And, sometimes there was just an empty bed
Yeah,
as he was
a
laying
lot-
under the desk.
A lot of the time there was
Yeah.
just an empty bed.
Yeah.
But the times that he was there, you seem to really enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
He's very, very cute and
He's
sweet.
good to have around.
Yeah, he is good to have around. So September's officially started. We've started doing some of the things.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll here you go. This is what we've got planned for September. We are up to 1,500, which is the dance party. Once again, in in the first 3 streams. Hey, we got our month. Hey, don't worry about it. We got our month.
Where are we up to? We've gotten I can't even remember. We surpassed 1,500 last stream.
Yeah. We're on to 2,000 now, which I can't even remember what 2,000 is. It's something. There's some. Hey, you'll know right now. I don't. What?
2,000. What is 2,000?
I have no
Horror
idea.
game.
Oh, it's
2000
horror
horror
games
game.
night.
And
yes.
we've decided we're gonna play Still Wakes the Deep.
Yes, Still Wakes the Deep. we looked at a couple of contenders and we
Alien
watched
Isolation,
some.
Dead Space remake.
Yeah, there's a new one, the casting of Frank Stone.
Yeah.
We watched a couple of people like play them. We didn't watch a lot. We just wanted to get a vibe.
Yeah.
And still
Vibe
Lakes the
check.
Deep seems like the best option. It seems like there's a good mix of story and horror.
Yeah.
And apparently the ending's really sad.
Which is great.
Which is
because
great.
We all love to cry.
Yeah, obviously.
All of us love to cry on stream.
He's just sniffing my
Yeah,
legs.
he's
What's
just having
going
a
on?
sniff. He's just having a little sniff.
What's going on? Okay.
Oh, a little shake.
Oh, okay.
Just having a
Why?
sniff.
You've never sniffed my legs. Okay.
You're
all
very
right.
sniffable, you see.
Well, apparently so. Now he's licking. Okay, all right.
Come people.
Oh my gosh. What is it? He's never done this before. What's going on? Sorry. Oh. Listen, he's got a big head. When he wants to do something with his head, there's kind of no stopping
And
him.
the neck is powerful.
Yeah, it is. It is. He's
He
an old
might be
man.
11-year-old, but
Yeah.
the neck is still
He's
powerful.
ancient, but he's just have some power behind him.
He sure does.
So if he wants to sniff my legs, he's gonna. I'm
Yeah.
afraid. So yes, join us on Twitch for the whole of September.
Yeah.
We have all sorts of fun rewards that we're doing, all the way from painting each other's portrait challenge to doing a 2-player TTRPG live on stream.
Yes.
So please join us. Now is the best time to do so. We're doing so many varied things. I'm sure there'll be something that you enjoy, and it's been so much fun so far. It really has.
I have loved it so much. It's been so great to be able to do just a couple of other cool things as well as, our usual stuff like advice and Ask Us Anything and stuff like that. Being able to just sprinkle bits in, because while we did the portraits, we did Ask Us Anything.
Yes.
Which was great.
We tried.
We tried. Hey, we tried. We were concentrating.
We tried. Hey, it was hard. Hey, I can't multitask to save my life.
We did all right.
Yeah, we did all right.
We did all right.
So yeah, I feel like, when you first start doing something, for example, like YouTube and Twitch, you don't really know what's going to stick. So you just try 1,000 things.
Yeah.
Like, as you can see on our channel, we tried loads of different things. Twitch, we tried loads of different things in the beginning and we kind of settled into our rhythm. I think it gets to a point where you have to start trying new things again. And I think September is a really good, time for us to do that.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know?
I completely agree. And I think like things like, it's like on this channel, like things like I'm the asshole horror stories and stuff like that is it never goes away.
No.
You just add little bits in here and there to flesh it out a bit, which I feel like we've fallen into a very good rhythm here on YouTube.
Yeah.
And with Twitch, it was very much like advice and Ask Us Anything.
Yeah.
And we do one other thing as well, but I can't remember what it is.
No idea.
But those are things, so it's just like little bits to flesh it out at the same time.
Yeah.
Which I think is good.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we tried the games, didn't like playing the games. At least we didn't like playing the
separately.
The separately was no fun.
Nah.
And it's just working out what we like and what's good and what you like as well. So yeah, I think this is a good chat. This is a good time. Good time. Good fun time.
Good time.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, I played Valorant yesterday. Won 5 games in a row.
Yeah, we did. We played
Got
Valorant
2
yesterday.
surrenders?
Yeah, we did get 2 surrenders. It's been good. I'm the closest to gold I've ever been. I'm like 58 through silver 3, I think, or something like that.
Well.
The last game we played, I played like a beast.
You did. You played like an absolute
I got
animal.
31 RR because I
Yeah.
played better than I normally played. Don't know what happened. I really don't. But yeah.
Played well?
My tooth is still painful. My tooth
Sadly.
still hurts, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was. I can yawn now without wanting to die.
Yeah.
And I ate a sandwich today, which is the first time I've been able to eat something like that big, like in ages.
Yeah.
So tooth's
Toothache's
getting better. Yeah, toothache's
Still
getting
painful, but getting better.
Yeah.
So we're on the upwards trajectory, which is good.
Yeah. I wanted to show you my new Art of Blythe. Oh my gosh. You know what? After we showed it the other day,
Because
I
we've
was
been keeping
like,
it secret because there was a plot relevant thing that comes across very obviously, as you'll see it in a moment, in the art. So we wanted to wait until we got to that point on Patreon.
Yeah. I got some new Art of Blythe. Look, she's had a bit of a costume change.
Yes, she's had a big costume change.
So if you didn't know what she looked like before, basically she had all of these flames, but they were all like a traditional fire color.
Traditional fire.
And she has recently, at least for the campaign updates, she has recently multi-classed into a cleric.
Paladin.
Paladin. Oh my god, why did I
Cleric?
say cleric? Oh my gosh. She's recently multiclassed into a paladin. Oh my god. Of a god called Ossamet.
Yeah.
And Ossamet is basically known in this world as like the devil. And not all is as it seems.
Maybe not all is as it seems.
It certainly is not.
Maybe a specific religion has painted somebody into a devil that was never meant to be that.
Indeed. This kind of transpired because we had always known of Ossamet's existence. We never really knew how they became a devil, and then through just story hooks and a big part of the game called the Union of Flames, which were people dedicated to uncovering the truth about Ossamet. Because in the world, the main religion is called the Ashen Heart, and they worship a god called Cavandir. And we basically found out that it is not true. Ossamet was equal with Cavandir. The cycle of life and death needs to be balanced, and Ossamet is the god of death, and Cavandir is the god of life.
Not just death, but sickness, illness, like things that we need to learn about to keep ourselves healthy and to educate ourselves on what to and what not to do.
Yeah.
But just like what a lot of people would consider bad.
Yeah.
And is, like people high up in Ashen Heart basically were like, you're not doing your job, and then ended up painting it out to be like bad.
Like malicious.
And then completely wiped the religion off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And then painted the god into a devil.
Yeah.
And then the gods were leaving to be like, hey, if it's not fucking both of us, it's none of us.
Yeah.
We're okay. If it's not both of us, it's none of us. And they were just leaving.
Yeah. And basically, the whole premise of Jack's campaign, I apologize, it's been quite a long time since we've talked about it kind of like outside of Patreon. But Jack's whole campaign, the whole premise of it is every calendar cycle, there is a sacrifice, a human sacrifice to the god of Cavandir, because Cavandir gifted us the Everflame, which basically keeps all the bad, nasty things away. And as long as there's a human sacrifice, Cavandir will continue to give us this flame. Obviously, not all is as it seems. We found out that there was two flames this whole time, the Everflame and the Darkheart. And we found out about it, and in a last-ditch effort to try and kind of literally spark this flame again for balance in the world, all of our characters made a small sacrifice to this flame, because it was never supposed to be human sacrifice. That was just something that was conditioned into people. And we made a small sacrifice, and to tell this god, hey, we know about you, we're here, and we're going to do everything we can for the sake of ourselves and our loved ones and everyone to come.
We know that you are not a devil.
Yeah, and we're going to prove that. And you gave us a level up. You were like, this needs to be rewarded somehow.
Yeah.
And
so I did. I an impromptu level up.
Yeah.
In that moment, sort of, because I didn't expect them to do that, but they did. And then you chose Paladin, and then we had a little...
it seemed like the perfect time. I was considering multi-classing into Paladin anyway.
Yeah.
And then this was the perfect time for her to do so. So she's multi-classed into a Vengeance Paladin now of Ossamet. So she is 6 Swords Bard, 3 Vengeance Paladin.
Yeah.
And this is a new getup, and this is Balthazar's new getup.
She's all purple flamey.
Yeah. It's to signify the dark art.
Yeah.
And I've been holding on to this for ages. This art has been done by Jessie Jinx Art on Instagram and TikTok. We will, of course, link them all down below. She was an absolute pleasure to work with. Incredibly talented, obviously incredibly talented.
Unbelievable art.
So sweet to work with. So receptive to work with.
Little Balthies purple as well.
She did an incredible job. She honestly, I cannot recommend her enough. Please go check her out. What is the dog doing?
No, he's just sniffing.
Please go check her out. Send her some love. And this is my favorite piece of Blythe that I've gotten done so far.
Nice.
And hey, she's missing the finger as well.
She's missing the finger.
Because Calbassi bit the finger off.
Because Calbassi bit her finger off.
Sorry. I've been meaning to show that for ages since we did the campaign update. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we do a comprehensive campaign update every month over on our Patreon. We are coming to the end of this campaign, but we're going to be starting a new one and taking you guys through the very beginning session beyond session zero
world primer
of our new character
choices, everything.
Yeah, we're going to be bringing our friends on and our party to do interviews with us on Patreon.
Yeah, so if you want to join our Patreon, The link is in the description. 3-tiered Patreon.
Yes.
Exclusive content on there. Brilliant art. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. All right, shall we get into it?
Yes. Join us on Twitch every Friday, every Sunday, every other Tuesday. Oh my god. Check out some merch on our web store, www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. Patrons get 10% off, but check that out. Like, comment, subscribe. All of that goes a million miles to help the video. Thank you so much for all the support you show us. We love you very much. Let's get into topic. Thank you so much to all our patrons over at Patreon.
You have no idea how much we appreciate your support.
If you want to support us over at Patreon and gain access to our exclusive content,
like our D&D campaign updates and our extra monthly live streams,
click the link in the description. More about Patreon at the end of this video. Thank you.
All right. Do you remember the other day we were going through a drive-thru and you were like, I've put in a telephone order when it's like we just ordered on the app.
I did it on my telephone though.
My telephonic
order. Device.
Oh man, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna say it. I hate Google Sheets. I hate it.
Google Sheets hates you.
Yeah, well.
Get destroyed by Google Sheets.
As you can see, we are doing D&D horror and wholesome stories. Hey, we are at a severe lack of both horror and wholesome stories. So if you have any D&D horror stories or wholesome stories you would like to send in,
if you want to get read out on the podcast,
be on the podcast, please send it into that link down below. Very much appreciated. He's just moved the camera, hasn't he?
No, not the camera.
Do you want to...
No, I'm good. I can see it. He's
just wandering today.
It's okay. He'll settle down.
Yeah.
He'll settle down.
Yeah. So we start with a horror and we alternate to a wholesome, to a horror, to a wholesome. And these aren't all submissions because this morning when I was pooping...
Oh my God, pooping?
I was on the Reddit and a horror story popped up and I was like, oh my God.
I need to read this.
We have to put this one in.
Do you scroll the Reddit like frequently?
No.
Do you just scroll it when you know that we've got some stuff to read out?
I accidentally opened it.
Oh, really?
I accidentally opened it. I was trying to open something else and I accidentally opened it and it was at the top. So it is meant to be.
Oh my God, it was meant to be.
It's meant to be.
It's meant to be.
Yeah. So I'll tell you which one that is. All the rest are submissions.
Very good. Thank you very much.
So this first one, this has been sent in by Anonymous and she uses she, her pronoun.
Thank you very much.
This story is about 4 years ago, but after I decided to add my horror story to the mix. See what you guys think I could have done, if anything.
All right.
My best friend and I got into D&D together when we met each other in college. During the pandemic, we were desperate to play D&D, and we did what everyone else did. Go online.
Yeah.
A friend from college reached out and said that he wanted to start a campaign with his girlfriend. It was going to take place mainly on a ship, and we built our characters accordingly. I built a druid with keen mind that was going to be the navigator, and my friend built a cleric to be the onboard doctor. Her cleric was a grong that had to wear a headband of intellect just to do anything. Our first red flag was that the girlfriend was playing a warlock who was second in command to her boyfriend, the DM, who was also playing the captain.
Okay.
We got the vibe very quickly that this was their adventure and we were just tagging along.
You were just living in it.
Yep. Something else we learned very quickly is that the warlock didn't really roleplay that much. It might have been a character choice or a personal preference, but even when prompted by the DM to have a charisma-based interaction, there was always an awkward silence followed by me and my friend piping up, leaving most of the roleplay interactions to us alone. If it wasn't obvious, she also refused to just casually roleplay with us in character, telling us her character sleeps in the corner facing the wall so we can't see her talking with her patron. The first session took place in a port town with lots of ships, and the warlock refused to buy anything or talk to anyone. The first session took place in a port town with lots of shops, and the warlock refused to buy anything or talk to anyone. We were informed in the second session that the food from the port town was rancid and that we were ill. This was an awesome opportunity for the cleric who had purify food and drink and could fix our tummy aches.
Fix the tummy ache.
However, while we were role-playing this, she had clearly had enough of me and just told me, "Do you ever stop talking?" Both me and my friend's jaws dropped, and I was silent for the rest of that session. To be silent in a game that can only continue if we talk to each other is wild. But this session just continued. I can't remember anything else that happened after we got sick, and I got told to shut up. But that is all just backstory for what really happened.
I mean, that's already bad.
That's also terrible.
Do you ever stop talking?
Do you ever stop talking?
It's a role-playing game.
Man.
It's a role-playing game where we play characters in situations. Like, I would say that 75% of my session is made up by PC interaction with each other.
Yeah.
And, like, if that wasn't there, man, I don't know if... I think my session... My campaign would have been over in about 10 sessions if you guys didn't say anything.
Yeah. And, I completely understand that some campaigns don't run like that, right? Just because it has RPG in the name doesn't mean you have to roleplay, right?
It doesn't.
But there has to be at least interaction.
And this is the thing. I get games where it's like... we just want to listen to the Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
We're sort of like... We're like all passenger princesses.
Yeah. While
we're listening to the Dungeon Master, like, tell a story and take us on our way.
Yeah.
And it's like the only time when we talk is like when like NPCs ask us something, or we actually have to make decisions and things like that. And they sort of want to be led down the path. Maybe this is a difference in gameplay. And, if the Warlock is uncomfortable, like, being put in roleplay scenarios, I get it. That might just not be their playstyle. But you didn't yuck their yum, so why are they yucking yours?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I know. The actual horror happened in the next session. I invited my boyfriend, now husband.
Hey, let's go.
Yes, get it, girl. To witness the next session, knowing that it had to be just as bad. And oh boy, was it worse. The DM rolls for the encounter of the day, and we immediately enter a whirlpool field with an enemy ship shooting at us. Because of the dangerous state that the water was in, my DM wouldn't let me transform and swim to the enemy ship. It was also too far away for all of our attacks and spells. Well, not all of our attacks. You see, the ship had cannons on the side that can be manned by a player. Me and my friend were both instructed to go to the cannons, and on our turns in combat would simply be to take aim. Because the DM was the captain and the ship, the DM rolled for attack and damage from our cannons. Meaning that the only thing we did for over an hour in combat was say, I take aim. Then the DM rolls all of the rest of the dice and does all of the math behind a screen, over and over and over. When asking my friend about this day, she said combat was 2 hours long, and my husband said it was 3, but I think it only felt that long, the same way that time moves slower when you're watching paint dry.
Yeah.
To this day, the words take aim are forever ruined and will always remind me of the most boring combat and D&D session of my life. We never played again and the group just got dissolved. I still don't talk to the DM in fear of being invited to another game. The good thing is that I still play, and even now I DM. I love D&D, but I can't help but feel that if that was someone else's first time playing, it would have discouraged them from ever playing again. Was there anything I could have done earlier other than just leave? My advice for players, especially newer ones, be yourself and be picky. Don't settle for a D&D group that you aren't having fun in. It is a game, and the reason we play is to have fun. If there are problems that cannot be worked out with the DM, then move on to the next group who will accept and appreciate your style of playing.
If there's, in D&D, like in our game, if there's any moment I can get you to roll a dice instead of me to roll it, I do.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to like the damage that my enemies do, it's like, that's all me, because I don't want you to know how many like dice that I'm rolling and maybe what I'm casting and what my modifiers are and stuff like that. So like, I have to roll those things. But if there's things that like I can get you to roll, I'm going to.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to roll as many dice over me as possible, because that's fun for you guys, and sometimes when you don't even know what you're rolling, it's good. So to just be like, I take aim, and then the Dungeon Master be like, okay, well, here's two.
Yeah, and then the DM rolls all the dice, because like cannons on, like, based on the games that we've played on, because we had a combat like this where it was like it was Spelljammer, and we had to aim and take shooting at other ship.
Had to take shooting.
Had to take shooting at other ship.
Had to do the shooty pew pew at the other ship.
And we got to roll the dice. We saw how many dice it does. We got to roll the dice.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of dice, and it felt good because we got to have fun and roll the dice. It's the whole point of the game.
It is the whole point of the game. It's not the whole point of the game, but it's a large reason a lot of us play it. We play it to roll dice. We play it to roll loads of dice, especially when it's damage dice. Like that's the bit that everyone grabs the handful.
Yeah, it's the
shakes
whole.
it up,
Yeah, it's that's
and just drops it from a great height.
That is the mechanic in combat.
Yeah.
Is rolling the dice. So that stinks.
Yeah,
That
to just say I take aim and then have the dungeon master do everything fun behind the screen.
Yeah.
Not even like rolling for your attack.
Yeah.
Not even then rolling your damage dice after that, knowing what the damage dice that you can do and stuff like that. And I bet you they didn't even tell you what you rolled.
I know, and that's it. Like it completely. Then what else are you doing apart from just saying I take aim? Like it. Yeah,
that's it. You together just said we take aim.
Yeah, that's so boring.
Yeah.
But for me, the biggest issue is the other player saying, "Do you ever stop talking?"
Do you ever stop talking?
That's the biggest issue for me.
That's so egregious.
Like that's so mean.
That's so unfair. It's like, no, I'm playing a role-playing game. It's like what I want to get out of it is what I want to get out of it. Just because you don't want that doesn't mean I'm not allowed to have it. And if I care about talking, man, if anyone said that at our table, you'd be kicked instantly.
Oh, instantly.
Like all they want to do is talk.
Yeah.
All they want to do is just role-play together and talk. They love it.
And like the thing is, there is ways to be like, oh, this is too much roleplay for me.
Yeah.
There is ways to say that in a kind, constructive way.
100%.
That isn't, do you ever stop talking?
Like a super normal way where you can convey the fact that you're not quite getting out of the game what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And OP makes such a great point, saying to be silenced in a game that can only continue if we talk to each other. And then she didn't say anything else for the rest of the session. So then I can't help but be like, so what happened in the rest of the session?
The DM probably just led the session. And I think that's maybe what this person wants.
Yeah.
They want the dungeon master to lead the session and for them to just play along with that.
Yeah.
And that's fine if that's what you want, but I think there's just a difference in, again, there's a difference in play style here, and one person's respecting the other and one person's not.
Yeah.
And that's the issue.
Yeah, and it's so okay to not want to roleplay.
Totally
and
fine.
You can play in games where you don't roleplay and other people do, as long as you don't mind.
Mhm.
Like, there is a world where those two things can happen simultaneously to each other and be fine. And I don't know, just, again, the fact that we had a story like this last time. Well, once again, it was a couple where the DM was with one of the players and they just let the player get away with doing anything that they wanted.
And, like, the thing is, I get it. I do get, like, the problem is you haven't done a session 0 and you haven't talked about what you wanted out of the game.
Yeah.
And one person is totally fine and, like, just probably realizing that you don't want to roleplay.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, like, and then you are not respecting that of the other person, which just isn't okay.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, the whole, like, her character sleeps in the corner facing the wall so we can't see her talking to her patron. That is kind of her own prerogative, honestly.
And, you know, early game warlocks can be like that.
Yeah.
Like, trying to keep the patron secret, even the fact that they have a patron, who the patron is, what they're talking to the patron about.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. I get that part.
Yeah.
That's probably about the only part I do get.
Yeah, same. And you know what? The DM playing the captain of the ship and then having the warlock being the second in command to the captain. Like, putting all these, like, hierarchy. This hierarchy to these things, genuinely, in my opinion, will most of the time lead to this feeling of we were just tagging along.
And the thing is, I, again, don't even mind a arc of a campaign taking place on a ship where the dungeon master is the captain.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
I agree, because someone has to be the captain.
Someone has to be the captain. And unless you came into the campaign being like, hey, I'm a captain of a ship.
Yeah.
The DM's probably going to play the captain.
Yeah.
But then it's like, it's okay when it's an arc.
Yeah.
Because, like, and it could even be okay with the dungeon master being the captain of the ship and with the whole campaign taking place on a ship. But it has to be done right. And then putting people in, like, higher positions and stuff like that does then just give out, like, a power imbalance, which can be quite hard to navigate.
Yeah. I wonder what the player who was playing the warlock was doing in the combat with the ship. Like, because they say that the attacks didn't reach, so I'm assuming warlock, unless they had the
Eldritch Spear.
Yeah. But I mean, even then, right?
Yeah.
Like, this just sounds like a mess.
Yeah.
OP, I am so glad that you, first of all, you don't play with them anymore. You have no intentions of playing with them ever again, and you have rekindled your love for D&D. And you are so right in everything that you said in the end.
Yeah.
New players. Oh my good! Say it with us. No D&D is better than bad.
No D&D is better than bad D&D.
Absolutely. Do be picky about what games you put yourself in. The thing is, it's hard to say that because when you first start, you don't know what you like.
You don't know what you like. You don't know what you're getting yourself in for, and you're just sort of throwing yourself in and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
And like again, there's so many times where we see like campaigns like this being people's first campaigns, and then being like, how did you still have a passion for it?
The amount of times where we've read a story and I've been like, man, I don't know if I would have played D&D again. Honestly, like I really don't, because the first time you do something is like could potentially be your only impression of it as well.
That's like, okay, this is what D&D is.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I agree. Do not settle for a D&D group you aren't having fun in. You are so entitled to be playing at a game and not enjoy the way it's ran. And it's not an insult to the DM. It's not an insult to the other players. You just have a different play style, and that's totally fine. Normal. It really is. So thank you, Anonymous, for your submission. Thank you very much. Okay, this next one, this is our wholesome one, and this has been sent in by Jason, and he uses he, him pronouns.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Our last session ended without our cleric and our warlock coming to an understanding in a heartwarming way. During the session, there was a vicious fight with a Harengon rogue that ended with the enemy being captured for interrogation. Our cleric healed the rabbit folk as a condition for his cooperation. However, we later realized he was being magically compelled to escape at all costs and refused to answer any questions. Before we learned this, however, our cleric attempted an intimidation check and with advantage from our own rogue, rolled a natural 20 for a score of 25.
Let's go, that's pretty good.
Our cleric said that if the rabbit did honor the deal, he would have to take back all of that healing, meaning he would reopen all of those wounds. This caused the warlock to state that they were leaving the room while this happened. Our neutral good paladin was just bluffing, of course, and in the end, the Harengon made to escape. At the end of the session, the DM did a check-in on the players, making sure that nothing about the interrogation scene or the fight beforehand, which was pretty gnarly, had hit a sour note with the players. Everyone enthusiastically agreed that the session was good, but it probably shouldn't go too much darker than that. Before we wrapped up, the cleric asked to have an in-character moment with the warlock. The cleric pulled the warlock aside and, in character, made sure that the warlock understood he was just bluffing and asked if future threats like that should be made out of earshot or if they should work on a signal that the cleric could give so the warlock could go find somewhere else to be. The warlock initially said, no, we have to do what we have to do to stop this cult, to which our cleric gave a truly eye-watering speech. That is true, and I will continue to do what I have to do, but that doesn't give me the permission to cause my friends undue anguish in the process. I could have whispered that threat, and it was just a bluff, so that you didn't have to overhear it. I wanted to make sure that we're all comfortable around each other, because we have to trust each other, and in order to do that, I will be more mindful of what I say around you, all right? The warlock nodded his thanks, and the session closed with the party heading out, looking for their elusive captive.
I love, there's obviously a line here that's getting like crossed on both ways.
Yes.
Of like out of character and in character. And you know, the check-in previously, just before that moment, has basically allowed this moment to then carry even more weight.
Yeah, to go into, to have its full fruition.
Yeah, and then, I don't know, I do just love that sort of like, man, when people get it and parties get it, like, we're a party, and, you know, there's going to be times where we have to do things that are a little, you know...
Yeah, skirting the line a little bit.
Skirting the line and out of the realms of maybe what we don't actually want to do. But, you know, I want to make sure that we're all comfortable. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page, because when that falls apart, it all falls apart.
Yeah, and again,
I love that.
It's this whole, like... You have to suspend your disbelief to a point as a player for your characters to be able to get on, for your characters to be able to continue to adventure together. There has to be a reason they always stick together. And you know what? I also realize here that Jason said neutral good paladin. I'm assuming they meant cleric as opposed to paladin.
Okay.
Saying like just because I was about to be like, what did the paladin have to do in this? But I think they got maybe with paladin.
Just like you did earlier.
Oh my god! Just like I did earlier.
When I multiclass into cleric,
oh my goodness.
Margaret would never.
No, I would never. No. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. I think the fact that this sounds like a really healthy group with good communication.
Great communication.
Where people understand each other's boundaries and check in after. The fact that the DM paused after this and was like, how's everyone doing?
We all right?
And to be honest, got to the point where everyone was like, we're good, but hey, maybe that was the limit. Is a great way to find out. And then, like you said, because of that conversation, this conversation in game was able to happen as well.
Yeah, and it's just like the cleric and the players sort of maybe understood at this moment, okay, hey, that's the limit.
Yeah.
And then go into the party and been like, okay, like, you know, sometimes we do have to do things that we don't want to do. And I understand that, but I always want to make sure that we're all comfortable. Because at the same time, it's just like I said, when this falls apart, it all falls apart.
Yeah.
So, you know, like it's like a nod to it's like a meta nod, isn't it? It's like, hey, I get it and I understand. And like, if I ever do that, you need to like keep me in line and stuff like that.
Here's me holding myself accountable in the game as well.
And I love that.
Like, there was a really similar situation that happened with us in campaign 2. TRP, Abby's character, the Red Priestess, we were going to raise dead on someone because we accidentally killed them. Yes. And we needed answers from them. So she was going to raise dead on him to ask questions, or speak with dead, sorry. And her meta was like, this is way beyond what I'm comfortable with. I'm standing outside. And that night afterwards, TRP went up to her meta and was like, I'm sorry if that freaked you out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that again, but if I do have to, we will make sure that you are nowhere to be seen, basically.
And it's just like, you just made a great character bond.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, Matthew doesn't.
Oh no, Matthew.
Like,
Matthew
as a person,
Matthew couldn't
care less.
No.
Like, his whole thing was like,
freaked out by it.
You know, when you die and I want to go to Valhalla and stuff like that, and death is a very like sacred thing, an important thing that is almost like should be celebrated when it happens. So like, to almost like desecrate in a way.
Yes. Like, to die is an honor.
Yeah. To die is an honor.
Battle, yeah.
So like, for TRP to do that, like, that upset Matthew's character. Didn't upset Matthew. Matthew couldn't care less.
No.
But then for that to matter to the Red Priestess, enough for her to go and have a conversation. It's just like, we're just understanding each other.
Yeah.
As like living, breathing characters. And it's just like, you know, we can get into this whole like, you're just making the game so like soy and sigma and stuff like that, and where it's just like, the hope is like, we're playing a game, we're playing a role-playing game where we care about each other's characters, and now each other's characters are like living, breathing things, and that's why we care. It's like, we care because we don't want to cross boundaries as well, but like, in game, that's unbelievable roleplay, character building, bond building,
it is.
Party strengthening stuff.
It is, and I completely agree.
That I just think is one of my favorite parts of the game.
I completely agree. I think this is, it sounds like, Jason, you have a wonderful table.
Great table.
With players who all respect each other, and a DM who also respects each other as well.
Great communication.
What a good fun story. What a good
fun,
one.
awesome
Thank you,
story.
Jason. Thank you so much for your wholesome story. All right, this is the horror story I got off Reddit this morning.
Oh my god. Are you ready?
So, it is titled, Finally Got to Play in Person. It was awful.
No, this is supposed to be the good moment.
Well, today, I, 34 female, played in person for the first time. After 200 sessions online, IDM, and or play at least once a week, I finally got to roll real life clicky clacks.
Oh my god, the clickety clackety math rocks.
I was so excited. Made my little druid and showed up to the local AL. Adventurers League session 1 for Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Oh,
the DM even invited me to play, so I knew that I would be welcome. Hey, it was a nightmare.
No.
I expect some basic misogyny of talking down to me about rules. A 7 is a failed death save, you know? You're not dying, but you're still prone, you know, etc., etc. But today was enough to put me off ever playing a person again. And it is so sad.
That you expect that.
Yeah, it is so sad that chat who identifies as female expect this, because I'm the same, by the way. I am sure the majority of you who identify as female, who would go into a local game store and it would expect to be talked down to about these rules and mansplained down, as I would expect that.
It is devastating.
Yeah.
As you know, look, I'm not a fucking perfect example, and I never will be. But I try my best.
Yeah, you do.
And, you know, like, misogyny is ingrained into men just from fucking birth, sadly.
It is.
So, you know, I do my best all the time to, you know, make female presenting people in the community as welcome and as equal as possible. So when you say out loud,
I expect this.
I'm expecting to get like mansplained to and talked down to.
Yep.
Makes me miserable.
Yeah,
it makes me
same.
so
Yeah,
sad. And look, I know it's not about me.
No,
but, you know,
I know, but it's so disappointing.
it's just devastating.
Yeah,
it's
it
just
is.
devastating that I like those losers out there that still treat you like this.
Yep.
Like, you are making the scene and the community of TTRPGs so much fucking worse. And I just wish you'd fucking stop.
Yeah, I agree. So I used my turn to try cast Speak with Animals to try and coax some polar bears. The DM immediately said, fuck you. No animal handling. No, use an action on your next turn. Just fuck you.
The words?
Just fuck you.
Wow, okay.
Hey,
great stuff.
fuck
That's
you.
great stuff.
I had to tell them 5 times that fairy fire was a 20-foot cube. Most of the guys at the table insisted it was a 20-foot radius.
Well, you're wrong.
5 times. They still didn't believe me until, a guy at the table confirmed it was a 20-foot
right.
cube.
And now it's correct.
God, yeah, of course it's a 20-foot
because
cube.
anyone but the woman at the table said it's something,
yes.
That's when you listen.
Yes, okay. God, there is nothing more fucking frustrating than knowing the rules
something.
and someone going, no, that's not it. And you being like, hey, it is.
Hey, it is.
Even worse, them just not listening to you until another guy is like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, yeah, it is.
It is.
A sad dog came up to us. I go to ritual cast Speak with Animals, but I was yelled down by another player because there was no time. So we just walked into a tundra following a strange dog. 4. Someone couldn't afford to pay us for a job, but offered to paint us something. I said that sounds great and asked him to paint about the story hook that we heard earlier in the session. The DM said, you don't want a picture of that. No role playing.
Interesting, because I did ask for that.
Yeah, that's actually what I asked for.
It's strange because, you know, when I ask for something, it's usually because I want it.
Yeah, hey, yeah. Exactly. No role playing, just an immediate shutdown. You don't picture that.
You don't picture that? It's like,
hey, well, says who?
So
you.
I'm pretty sure I do because I asked for it.
5. I got focused in
the thing is, like, just sorry to interrupt.
No,
it's like, I bet you the rest of the group was like, let's beat the person up and take the money. It's just like, this woman at your table has heard this thing, said that you can get something painted. A bunch of players will be like, nah, let's beat this person up and take the money. They're taking the story hook. They're like, you said you were going to pay us, but you're not.
Yeah.
And I'm saying like, hey, like, that's okay.
Giving like a bit of grace.
Giving a bit of grace, giving a bit of leniency, like leaning into the role play and the fact that you said that you want to paint us something, which could be a really cool like memento for the party.
And like, which suggests that maybe this NPC has maybe more about them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But then, can you paint this? Nah, you don't want
to
like,
that.
What's the point in setting up this awesome moment
I know.
for your players to react to, and then they react to it, and then you just shoot them down? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why set up the moment to just not even allow it to flourish in any way? But I can guarantee the man says that at the table. The man goes, paint us this. The male DM goes, yeah, sound.
See, I can't help but feel like the DM wanted the characters to ask for a specific thing. I can't help but feel like the DM is like, I'll paint you a picture. And then they've put some like obscure hints, maybe not necessarily obscure hints to, you need this picture to enter this thing. And if you get this painting, you know what I mean? Like, I can't help but be like, this is a case of the DM having like not a puzzle, but a situation that has a particular outcome and expects their players to go along with it.
So what you're telling me is poor storytelling.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you.
You're poorly telling a narrative and being upset that the woman didn't get it.
Yeah, or hoping for whatever reason the characters do turn around and beat this person up, right? Like, that's the only thing I can think of. And then 5, I got focused in the first round of combat before I even had a turn or said anything to the bad guys, compared to others who had yelled at them, threatened them, etc. I got downed in 1 round. And no, I wasn't the closest or had the lowest/highest HC or HP. I did say I was hoping to cast Fairy Fire, see above.
Oh my god.
And the DM immediately spread out the baddies and focused me out of 7 players. I have never felt more demoralized or angry. I love this game so much. Is the internet version really the least toxic channel compared to my friendly local game store? Is this just part of it for she, hers at the table, and I've just been lucky enough to miss it? How have some of you bounced back from situations like this? Is it even worth it?
How have people bounced back? Do you want to know what? I question that every single time I hear a story like this.
So do I.
I question that every single time I hear a story like this because I think a lot of people wouldn't. I think they'd just hang their Dungeons and Dragons or TTRPG hat up and be like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, but it's like, what choice do we have?
Yeah.
What choice do we have as women? And it's like, this isn't only in TTRPGs, by the way. This is everything.
Every circle.
Like, what option do we have? We decide that we like something and that we want it to become a hobby. There's so much gatekeeping from the beginning of men who don't want women to be part of their little group. And then you have to get past that opposition, which already is a notch in your belt, right?
Yeah.
Then you get to the table and then you have people trying to literally mansplain things to you that you already know.
And actually know better than they do.
Or if you don't know it, they do it in such a condescending way. That's another notch on your belt. Then to be focused in combat, because I can only assume
You're a
that
woman.
you are female identifying. That's another notch. And then what choice do we have? Like, oh, we stop playing a hobby that we know we would love, or we have to push through it. Like, it's so unfair.
I'm sorry that to our female presenting people out there, you just have to fight to do anything.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You have to fight tooth and nail, be like incorrectly corrected, be mansplained to, be targeted, be made to feel different, be made to feel anything other than welcome into a space that is supposed to be welcoming, because none of that should happen to you. And I'm so sorry that it does, and it makes me fucking sick every time I hear a story like this. It makes me... Do you know what? I'm just fucking bored of it.
Yeah, man.
I'm fucking... And you know, that's a privilege for me to be like, I'm bored of it.
Yeah, it makes me so mad. It just makes me so mad hearing this. The fact that she's come on here being like, is this just part of it? Yeah. But hey, unfortunately, yeah, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
And you know what? I promise it's getting better. And honestly, it's getting better in these online spaces because the online world is so much more diverse than somewhere like your local friendly game store.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm not saying that all local friendly game stores are like this, because they're certainly not.
No.
These are just bad people.
These are dreadful people.
These are just bad people.
And you know, we went to our friendly local game store.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's closed down now.
Yeah.
And you know, thankfully, nobody was weird to you.
No one was weird to me.
Everyone was actually really nice to you, really accepting.
Very respectful to me,
and
very kind to me.
Didn't treat you any differently.
Didn't treat me any differently.
Which was awesome. And you know, it's just like, hey, is it so hard to just not make people feel like the outcast? Not to feel like they're welcome? It's like, why are you doing it? You aren't cool.
Yeah.
It's not making you look cool. It's not making you any better of a person. You're actually just a dreadful person by doing this. Just be nice to people. Accept them in. Don't make the fact that they are female presenting or a woman or trans or a person of color or anything that isn't a straight white man make you act differently towards them.
Yeah.
Just stop it.
Yeah. And you know, you find this everywhere. You find this starts with a girl wearing a band t-shirt and a guy going, can you name 5 songs by that band? It's like, it starts there and then it escalates all the way up into, you know, egregious territory. It's all part of a pyramid. And it's such a shame that we get completely kicked out of these spaces because someone has a problem with us because of who we are. Yeah. And you know, hey, look, I know that so many of you feel this way for so many different reasons, for so many different minorities feel that way, but like it makes me so angry that we can't even just enjoy our own hobbies because men decide that we don't belong to be there. And it pisses me off so much.
It doesn't belong to you. You don't own the hobby. You have no right over it to anybody else. So why do you pretend like you do? And you want to know what? If this person hears this, go to your local game store, tell the owner.
Tell them. Oh my gosh.
Get them fucking banned.
Oh my God, 100%.
The only way they will ever change is if they are held accountable for their dog shit behavior.
Yeah.
If you go to the friendly local game store where they love to hang out every week, well, hey, that's gone now because you don't deserve it. You don't deserve spaces like that because of the way you act. Oh, this is unfair. Is it? The way you treat people is unfair. And the only way you're ever going to learn is if you get a taste of your own fucking medicine. And that is it. Because clearly you've had no sense talking to you from birth. You're what, an adult? Come on. You deserve to be kicked out of the game store and never be allowed back in, and then maybe you'll learn your lesson.
Yeah.
And I hope it doesn't take that, but obviously it does.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just, I to be fair, I don't think OP confirms if she was the only woman in this group, but like I'm getting the vibe that maybe she was.
I'm taking a wild stab in the dark.
Yeah, and gosh, if you see this, please just say something.
Stand up for people around you.
Stand up for the people around you, because again, it's not OP's responsibility to try and teach these people how to treat other women.
No, they should know.
It's not her responsibility to do it, but it all falls on her.
100%.
Falls on her to report it.
Yeah.
Falls on her to make a complaint. Falls on her to say something. Please, if you see this happening, whoever you are, please stand up for the person who is being treated like this. It will go leaps and bounds. And sometimes people have just never been told no. Sometimes people have never, ever been told that their behavior hurts people and that their behavior is wrong. And how are they supposed to change if they don't know? Granted, there's an argument to be made that you should just be fucking nice to people.
Just be nice to the people around you.
Just be nice to people.
Doesn't matter what they look like. Doesn't matter where they've come from. Doesn't matter who they are. Doesn't matter what walk of life. Doesn't matter anything. Let's just be nice to each other until there's a genuine reason to not be.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be nice to each other.
Yeah, we need to start taking the onus off of the people who are being mistreated in these situations to be the people who do the teaching.
Yeah, because it's not their job. And this is the problem with this situation is it's already happened.
Yeah.
And you should go back and report them because they deserve to get fucking kicked out.
Yeah.
But in these situations, it's just like you see something happening to somebody.
We should stand up for each other.
Stand up for each other. Like, we get taught this as children. It's just like if somebody's being bullied, you go to the teacher and you tell someone.
Yeah.
It's like, why have we just completely forgotten what we knew when we were 5 years old now that we're adults?
Yeah.
Just, hey, somebody's getting bullied. Because that's what it is. It's bullying.
Yeah.
It's like flat out it's bullying. And it's more than that, but at the base level, it's bullying.
Yeah. And, it goes to an even higher level than that of where certain kids learn that they go to a teacher who is a certain type of person. They say, this person's bullying me because of XYZ. The teacher doesn't do anything. It all stems from patriarchy. Oh my God, who would have thought it?
Who'd have thought it?
Oh gosh, this is the angriest I've been in ages.
I know.
At this, this is just such a.
And like, sorry that we get mad, but sometimes you gotta.
No,
get mad.
I'm not sorry that we get mad. I'm not sorry that we get mad. We have to get mad.
Yeah,
and I am sorry for people who potentially see us being mad and it kind of sparks something in them as well. But we have to be mad because if we're not mad, nothing's going to change. And, I'm aware that us yelling on the internet about this situation that happened to poor OP in a local friendly game store isn't going to change that. But maybe one person listening now will hear this and align with what we're saying, and they will see something like this and at least make that person feel less alone. Yeah. Right?
I completely agree. I think it's like, it's sorry that we're getting mad because it's just like sometimes it's not the easiest thing to digest, but fucking this world's just not easy to digest. And like we need to this is how we feel. This is how we feel when we see things like this. When we see, any sort of racism, sexism, transphobia, anything, where we're just marginalizing somebody and like segregating like a group of people, this is just how it makes us feel. And we're not going to hide from that. And we're not going to, shy away from that.
No, I don't think anyone's asking us to either. I think you all very much align with what we're saying.
But I think in the beginning of the podcast, almost every episode was like this.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And you know why? It's because in the beginning of the podcast, we hadn't seen all the stories.
Yeah.
You have to think, we took all of the stories at first before we had submissions from the top rated on Reddit, which were all, wow, dreadful. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Stories of female presenting or identifying people in the TTRPG scene being treated horribly because of how they identify. And that's why we talked about it so much back then.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that our stance has changed.
Never.
If anything, our stance has gotten stronger
more
about
militant.
it. But, because we take mainly submissions now, there's a wider spread.
Yeah.
Where this was the top of my Reddit this morning for that exact reason.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think I would like to like finish it, unless there's anything that you want to say.
No.
On if you didn't get as mad as we did, why? Because you should. Like, in my opinion, you should.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any space in this world anymore for complacency.
Yeah, I agree. And, there's the argument you can't fight fire with fire, but you have to fight with something.
You have to fight with something.
Yeah.
And you have to... This has to annoy you. This has to upset you. This has to evoke something within you, because if it doesn't, I don't feel like you're doing enough. Like, you need to be like, that's wrong, and I agree, and like the reason it just upsets us is good. It's good to feel that way.
Yeah, and if you heard that story and you thought, oh, well, it's not that bad,
It's fucking disgusting.
Maybe they're being sensitive or they're overreacting, I would genuinely ask yourself why you think that.
And I would ask you also to unsubscribe and go somewhere else.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
yes, of course.
I don't want anybody here who doesn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
If you don't have a problem with that, you don't belong here. I don't want you here. I don't care about you in the nicest way possible. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
It's just not good enough.
I also believe that people can change. And I also believe that people have to understand the root of why they feel the way they feel and why they have those reactions.
Yeah.
And I think someone who is willing to actually introspectively look, I think you do have a space here, I think. But if you feel anything other than being fucking pissed off hearing this, I would think why. I would think, do you feel like that because it's never happened to you before? Why has it never happened to you before? Do you not fit in the margin of this person who had this happen to them?
Yeah.
Has it happened before and you think it was your fault? Has it happened before and you were the one who did it? I think there's so many ways to think about it.
And that, I do agree with you, because, I wasn't a great person when I was younger.
Me neither. I probably would have heard a story like this when I was younger and been like, yeah, I probably would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was horrid.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And, we're all different from when we were younger and stuff like that. And it's just like, just because this was maybe you 5, 10, 15 years ago, but you're different now, doesn't mean you're a bad person.
No.
People can change. And the thing is, when you believe that people can't change, is when we just completely fail. So I completely agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Me, what, 10, 15 years ago would have heard this and gone, snowflake.
Yeah. Maybe not 10 years ago.
How old? No, maybe not. No, maybe.
We got together 8 years ago.
You know what? Maybe 10 years ago.
Nah, I don't think so.
Maybe 10 years ago. What, 20? Maybe. Honestly, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably would have read this and gone snowflake.
Yeah. I just think, and you have to be. But the thing is, if you hear that and you have no remorse and don't think it's right and won't look introspectively, then we don't want
No, absolutely. Gosh, no. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I don't want to say that the casket is closed and buried at that point.
Yeah, if you have no desire to look inwards as to why you don't have a problem with that,
yeah.
And why you think that's maybe funny, then you don't belong here.
Yeah, I think an important thing always is introspection.
I completely agree.
Always asking yourself, if you have even with this, we have an intense reaction and there's part of my head that goes, why do I feel like this? And I'm like, because I've been through this before.
Yeah.
And it feels terrible and it shouldn't have happened because I didn't deserve it, you know?
In the year of our Lord, 2024.
Dungeons and Dragons.
For this to still happen at a game store, man, just makes me sick.
It makes me sick as
well.
well.
It makes me absolutely fucking sick.
Yeah. OP, I am so sorry. It is clear what was going on at this table. To be fair, there was an update. Don't know why I haven't pasted the update in it. I think it was something along the lines of, thank you everyone. I'm going to report them, basically.
Good.
To the game store.
Because they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They deserve to be banned for life from the game store.
I hope more than anything, I know, I'm putting my faith in that the owners of the game store hear this, ban these people. I'm putting my faith in that.
100%. But we don't know. They might have been like, yeah, get them banned.
Yeah.
And if they were, brilliant. That's exactly what needs to happen.
Yeah, indeed. Shall we end on a wholesome one?
Oh my God, please.
Jesus Christ. Oh no. Oh God. All right, let's end on a wholesome one. How are we doing? Sorry, you know what? It's been a while since we've gone on a rant like that. It's been a while since we've had to speak like that. But again, it's for all of the reasons above. We used to speak on these things all the time because we were reading the most egregious horror stories out there. And it's kind of dispersed a little bit. Since getting yours, and it's not that there's any less, it's just that there's more kind of all-encompassing horror
more
stories.
All-encompassing. Yeah,
So when it comes to something as egregious as that, God, you can feel it.
Oh my God,
you can fucking feel it.
I'm fucking pissed off.
I'm pissed off.
I'm pissed off.
I'm pissed off.
I'm fucking fuming.
All right, let's end this on a wholesome one, shall we?
Yeah.
So this has been sent in by Anonymous, please.
Anonymous, please.
And they use they them pronouns.
Thank you.
I am relatively new to 5EDM with a few successful one-shots under my belt. Now, I am a relatively new 5EDM.
Yeah.
Eventually, I wanted to run a longer campaign of my own making, so I sat down and I started writing. Fast forward to the last sessions of the summer before everyone has to go back to university. We're all friends from high school and we go to different colleges. The party is fighting a basilisk. The party is 4 level 5 players, a monk, a bard, a life cleric, and a death cleric, with a goal of finding a rare magical mineral in the mines of the monk's hometown.
Cool.
They go down to the mine and encounter the basilisk next to a pile of the mineral the party needs, with its tail wrapped around the pile. As this was a homebrew campaign, the basilisk was a little different to how it is in the monster manual. Rather than having 2 eyes on the outside of its face, my basilisk had a single large eye inside of its mouth that was only visible when the mouth was open.
Cool.
Seeing a basilisk, the party went back to the town and convinced an NPC to let the party borrow a hand mirror. They were going to try and get the basilisk to petrify itself.
Very cool.
Since its eye was in its mouth, the party had to figure out how to get it to open its mouth and look at whoever was holding the mirror. As a DM, it was great to see my players working together and strategizing. Especially since they were all new players and they were all pretty shy when we first started. After significant damage had been done to the basilisk, it began to eat the mineral to heal itself. Further pressuring the party.
Nice.
A few rounds of combat go by when everything aligns and the life cleric has a chance to try and petrify the basilisk. I decided to do a contested roll with no modifiers that would determine the outcome. For the first time over the course of this campaign, my roll was public. We do a countdown and we all roll at the same time. This had the entire table leaning in to see the rolls and even earned an I love Dungeons and Dragons from the bard.
That man, when you get into a situation like, look, I'm a public roller,
yeah,
guys.
You are.
I love Brennan Lee Mulligan's just like this.
Yeah.
He's a big proponent of I've got a +3, your save is this.
Yep.
I need a 14 on the dice or something like that.
Let's roll it out in public.
Let's roll it out in public. These big rolls that are defining in moments where we're just letting the dice tell the story. Even when it's just I roll, you roll, let's just see who has the higher number on the dice. Rolling out in front of the table feels great, but then when you get those moments where it works out and it's you roll a 15,
oh my God,
I roll a 14, and you just hear, man, I love Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
Man, I love Dungeons and Dragons, and I love these stories.
Yeah. I roll a 16, and the life cleric rolls a 7.
No.
The bard says they hate Dungeons and Dragons after this.
I hate Dungeons and Dragons.
Though the first attempt had failed, the party was determined to get another chance. The battle went on, and once again, the life cleric gets a chance to petrify the basilisk. Everyone leans in, and the other players begin manifesting a natural 20 for the life cleric and a natural 1 for the basilisk by pointing and yelling each respective thing to the dice in our hands. We count down and roll. Mine settles first, an 18.
It's pretty good.
Life Cleric's dice hits the edge of the rolling tray and continues to roll for a few more seconds before finally settling.
A
natural 20! The party cheers as the basilisk is petrified by its own gaze, and the monk's small mining town is saved from the creature terrorizing the miners. This was such a great way to end last session of the summer and get a reminder as to why we play this game. Thank you so much for listening to my story.
Brilliant story.
Oh, thank you for sending in your story. I will always say this. Stories like this, where it's like, you just need a fucking good roll.
Yeah, you just need, like, we're rolling against each other and we've got the same modifier or something like that. We've got no modifier. And it is literally just, I just need to roll higher than you.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Man.
No modifiers, nothing.
Like, those... I do, like, when you have a shy party at the beginning, it's just like, not that I ever had a shy party, but they were shyer than they are now. But you see them become the party that they are. And it's like, obviously, your party is a party that likes to think quite analytically about the situation.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Hey,
to be able to be like, let's get a mirror. Hey, let's go get a mirror and let's petrify this thing.
Let's do some damage to it. Let's fucking get it to open its mouth. When it does, one of us holds it open. The other one holds the mirror at it so it can see itself and stuff like that. And it's just like, as a dungeon master, it can be, and you need a specific type of dungeon master for this, I think. I feel like you've found each other. Yeah. Some dungeon masters just want to have the fight, but some dungeon masters really like to reward when players think of
Put
these.
Their heads together.
Last combat, like, I've currently got our friend Jack at the table as a guest in the, like, last section of this campaign, and he saw, like, you all have the single base mini, the medium mini that sits in one square, and the two enemies that you were fighting were large. And he was like, I've got plant growth free cast once per day because of this hammer that I've got on. Can I do every other square so, like, no matter what, they will always have half movement? Because it takes, like, 4 squares instead of 1 or something, whatever. And I was like, well, let's see if because, like, that's quite... He wanted to do it in a 100-foot square. I was like, you roll me a DC 18 or something like that. And he rolls it. Yep. And then it makes the combat, like, so much different.
Yeah. Completely changes the
One of the enemies was a melee enemy. One of them was a spellcaster. The spellcaster was still quite dangerous, so you focus that down. But then Margaret cast slow on the other guy. The guy could move 1 square on his turn, and they all just, like, ran away from him. And it's like, I could have just been like, nah, this is cheesy. I don't like it. Because in a way, it's like, you found a way to cheat that combat. But at the same time,
it still required a roll to do it.
It offered up, like, you know, the other thing was still dangerous. Yeah. And you had to funnel a lot of attacks into it.
And we still had to work around the plant growth too, because the plant growth affected us. Yeah. We still had to navigate the plant growth, right? It was a great one.
It was a great combat. And everyone came out the other end being like, that was a great combat.
Yeah, definitely.
And I agree. I think you guys really thought your way around it, used a bunch of resources. Yeah. And, you know, I just think, like, it is hard sometimes as a dungeon master to and I understand, like, if you aren't there at that point in your dungeon mastering career, to go, do you want to know what? Well played. Yeah. Like, that was a good idea. Yeah. Like, and well done.
Yeah, of course.
Because it was.
Yeah. Like, I just, public roles, if you don't do public roles and you're comfortable to do so, they add so much tension to the game. So much tension.
And it does, and again, it doesn't have to be all the time. Yeah. It can just be now and then. Yeah. Just something, just some big save or some big attack or some big check or something like that. Something that's like everyone's quite excited to see, like, what happens. Just be honest. Be like, hey, I've got a +7 to the saving throw. You've got an 18. I need an 11 on the dice. Yeah. You roll it out in front of them. It makes them just fall in love again with D&D.
Totally.
Because it's down to the dice.
Also, I love that. I love D&D too. I hate D&D.
I hate D&D.
Hey, we've all been there.
We've all been there.
Hey, we've all been there. So that was that. That was your fill.
I love that.
That's the stories. That's what we got. Please do, if you have any horror stories or wholesome stories, please send them in. We are at a severe lack of them, so send them in down below.
Down below.
Yes.
Get them in.
Yes.
Anything else?
No.
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, check out Patreon in the description for some more exclusive content. If you
Join
don't
us
have
for
enough,
September.
If you don't have enough of us in your life, get some exclusive content on Patreon. Come on over to September. It's a great month to check us out. We're doing a bunch of stuff. We've just done a 1 D&D deep dive into things that the people on stream wanted to hear about every Friday, every Sunday, every other Tuesday. Come and see us. Check out our Etsy store down below. Anything else? Check out some merch, www.elderspodcast.co.uk. Patrons get 10% off. I love you.
I love you.
Bully loves you. Eventually he loved you.
Yeah.
We've been the Eldritch Podblast, and we're going to see you on Monday. Bye!
And another huge thank you to our patrons for all of your support. A big shout out to our fellow entities.
Hoobs,
Ariel,
Tula,
Runarian,
Arkham Labs Cosplay,
Maddie,
Pepsi Woman,
Luna,
Teddysaurus,
Caspian,
Ryan the Giant 111,
J-Spot,
Ultrafail,
Dallin M,
Sleepy,
Joe Dragonlord 2,
Alistar,
Lawkeeper Society,
Ricky B,
Danny Phantom,
Catherine,
Faustskin,
Azuriel,
Panda Queen Plays,
Xylo Boy,
Lucas Iapetis,
Luna River.
Ruined Rivers. Thank you again for all your support.
And if you too would like to become a patron of the Eldritch Podblast, check the link below.